want to clear up some confusion between manufacturer versus labor warranties if we can get into this a little bit.
What's covered, basically, it's parts, right? So if there's a mechanical failure or there's a defective part and there's a recall, that part is covered by the manufacturers. As I like to say, if you're in Manhattan, Kansas versus Manhattan, New York, the cost of managing a service call is different. You may roll a truck for $100 here, but you need $300 an hour here.
The home services industry is changing, and the business owners who adapt will lead it. We bring contractors and industry leaders together to break down what's actually working. Data, operations, and strategies that drive results. This is Beyond the Truck Roll.
Welcome to Beyond the Truck Roll, podcast by SmartAC. My name is Wes Friednash, and today we have Kevin Thornton from JB Warranties. Really excited to get into everything about warranties today, because I think warranties are one of those things that every HVAC company offers or should offer, but there's a lot of confusion about it. Sometimes people don't feel good about how they're handled, and I think today we brought Kevin on because we want to unpack how the best shops turn warranties from a cost center into like a really strong competitive advantage. So first of all, Kevin, thanks for joining today. It's a pleasure to have you on, and I want to have you introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about the background of JB Warranties.
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks, Wes. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. And thanks for the invitation. So, as Wes mentioned, my name is Kevin Thornton. I'm the Vice President of Dealer Business Services at JB Warranties. And what that means is, as a warranty company, we're really trying to find ways that we can extend the relationships we have with our contractor partners, and really try to identify vendor partnerships such as SmartAC, different field service management platforms. We've got integration with Service Titan and Workies, other products and services that are relevant to our contractors. And so that when we're out there talking to our contractors, we can talk about warranties first and foremost, of course, but we also want to kind of bring to them value and let them know of different vetted products and services and other service providers such as SmartAC that we believe in, that we can kind of recommend to those contractors as well. So with JB Warranties, been around about 17, 18 years, and we're in essence an insurance company. We're an extended labor warranty company, primarily labor. So you'll be familiar with, when you get a piece of equipment installed from, say, Trane Technologies, there's typically a parts warranty that the OEM stands behind. However, the cost of ripping out a faulty part and replacing it with the new part, that labor is not included, and that's where we come in. So that's the extended labor portion, and that's where JB Warranties has kind of staked its claim. The nice thing is we work with all brands, and we work with contractors across not only the U.S., but Canada as well.
One of the things I love about JB Warranties specifically, and I appreciated your background on it, is like I think you have a lot of these companies that have grown a ton in this space, and you work with all the manufacturers, et cetera. But really at your core, you're like a homegrown, family-run business, and you have a huge national presence. I love how you have someone in every market. Like I just think the way you guys have built this company and how you've scaled is just really impressive. And like, as someone watching from afar, it's been really cool to see.
Thank you. And we use that as a competitive advantage. It's a family business that grew. Culture is very, very important for us. You've had the opportunity to visit us at JB Warranties World Headquarters here in Argyle, Texas. Yeah. We've got a great campus. We love to bring partners out. We love to do networking events. We're an ESOP as well, so we're an employee-owned company. So all of the employees are owners. So people feel good, that they are part owners and that they can kind of come in here, they can grow their career here. And the goal is to have all of our employees retire millionaires. That's the goal of Jeff Bohannon, our CEO. We've been very, very fortunate over the last 17, 18 years as far as the growth trajectory. And so we continue to grow, but we have to innovate. And that's why we try to work with, innovative companies such as SmartAC, through our integrations, through our partnerships with the OEMs. we're constantly evolving and trying to bring more value to the contractors and really educating the contractors. And I know we'll get into that today, Wes, but really helping them understand the benefits of warranties, not only to the homeowners that they're taking care of, but also the benefits of extended warranty plans for contractors and their businesses as well.
Awesome. So I think the first thing I want to cover is a little bit of background on warranties, like how they're seen, just like big pictures,
Mm-hmm.
both from like the homeowner and the contractor. So my first question for you would be, do HVAC contractors, do they see warranties as like a painful thing sometimes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. Because keep in mind, we're all consumers, right? And so we go and buy that washer and dryer at Best Buy, or we go and buy that car, and the first thing they do is they try to upsell us a warranty, right? It's like, is this not, was it not built to last? Why do I need a warranty, right? Why, what's the need there? And so it really comes down to, the contractors believing in the program and believing that you're adding value, right? You shouldn't apologize that why you want to add a warranty. And it's kind of like financing. Don't assume and don't be skittish about offering that you offer financing that you're going to offend someone. In many cases with warranties, people have had bad experiences with home warranty companies, right? Where they maybe buy a home and it's covered under home warranty, and then they have something go wrong, and it takes 2 weeks for it to get fixed. There's exclusions. It's a bad experience. The contractor has to come back 3-4 times because they have to get approvals and wait for the OEM parts, and it's a nightmare. And so they kind of lump all warranty programs into one. The benefit of our extended warranty program is that not only for the homeowner, like it's a big investment, right? When you get a new HVAC system, 10, 12, $15,000, adding a warranty onto that, so you've got peace of mind that, hey, if anything goes wrong over the next 3, 5, 10 years, don't worry, it's completely covered, both the parts and the labor as well. And so really what we're doing, Wes, is we're spending time educating contractors, helping them with positioning of the warranties, and really helping them understand why it's good for a homeowner, but also why it's good for their business as well. And that's been working, especially this day and age, right? 20 coming out of 2024, there was bloated inventory, and then with 2025, with the economy and with homeowner, I guess confusion around what the future is going to hold, and with tariffs and increased costs, they're kind of in a wait and see. And so a lot of those replacements that were expected in 2025 never materialized. And so a lot of homeowners were focused on repairs and service, which was good for us because we kind of fall in that bucket, right? They're trying to extend the equipment that they currently have. And so a lot more homeowners are asking for warranties. A lot more contractors are selling these warranties to help these customers kind of extend the life of the products that they have. Seeing if we can extend that 10-year cycle to 12 years to 15 years, that really helps their pocketbook. And so that's what we're doing, Wes, is we're really trying to focus our time and energy with our field sales team, our strategic account managers, with our inside sales team, giving them the talk tracks to work with these contractors, so that they fully understand the benefit of the warranties, not only for the homeowners, but their businesses as well.
Yeah, can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah.
So from the homeowner's perspective, what do they like misunderstand about
Yeah.
warranties, I guess?
Yeah, many times it's like, well, if I'm buying this $12,000 system, it should work, and the contractor should stand behind it, and if anything breaks, it should just be covered, right? And that's not necessarily the case. And in most cases, once there's a new HVAC system that's installed, there is a parts warranty. So again, if anything breaks, but that's if there's a defective part or if there's a mechanical failure, the contractor would go into the supply house. They would take the faulty part in. They would get a replacement part at no charge. But the labor, again, labor cost of ripping out the old part and installing a new one, that's not covered. that could be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars based on what goes wrong. The first issue is that homeowners don't understand that labor is not included. For contractors, the reason why they want to add warranties is because if they add a warranty from JB Warranties to that piece of equipment, and let's say it's a 10-year warranty, well, they are the dealer of record for that home and for that system. They're the only one that can do the warranty work on that equipment. So it's tying the contractor to that home. We know how expensive it is to acquire new customers. Last thing you want to do is acquire a new customer, install that system, and then disappear, right? You want to monetize the relationship, and you want to monetize the lifetime value of that relationship. So adding that warranty makes sense. Best practices: you want to add a warranty onto every single quote. If you have a good, better, best system for your quote, go with a good, better, best warranty. The other thing that we recommend strongly is that you have bundled pricing. It's just included. Don't have line item pricing, because once you add line item pricing, the homeowner starts mentally subtracting things from the quote. Oftentimes they see a good, better, best. They want the best system, but they want the good price, right? And so they've got to figure out how they can get there. And with warranties, it's easy because they're not thinking in the future. They're thinking here and now. They're not thinking about the problem they're going to have in June 5 years from now. And then all of a sudden it's an issue. It's like, you know what, I'll take my chances. While you take your chances, oftentimes you lose. The other thing is the cost of, and we've seen this, right? We've seen where contractors' costs are going up, 50%, 100% over, year over year. And so this gives the homeowners the ability to lock in price for their labor for what may happen in the future. So where they may get something now where it's say a labor rate of $125 or $150, well, that same repair 5 years from now, maybe $400, right? But the good thing is if they have that warranty, they're locked in. So they're basically paying for that insurance policy now over the longer term. So some of the pushback we'll get from homeowners is, well, why do I want to buy a 10-year warranty? I don't know if I'm going to be in the house in 10 years, right? Which is valid. The good thing is with our warranties, they're transferable. So if I sell my home to you, Wes, and I've got a JB warranty and I've got 7 years left on a 10-year term, I can transfer it to you and you pick up the remaining 7 years of that warranty. And that transfer is done directly with our customer support team here at no charge to the customers. So that's one benefit. The additional benefit, besides, well, there's the transferability, but it's also tying the contractor to the home. In order for the labor warranty to be valid, the equipment needs to be tuned up and maintained, which means that you should be getting a maintenance plan or a membership out of that customer as well. Some manufacturers, they require one tune-up a year. Some require 2 tune-ups a year. You got to replace your filters. So in order for the warranty to be valid, that has to be, there's got to be proof that the equipment is taken care of. So again, that's the other benefit or recommendation we have for contractors. When you're building that quote, it should include a warranty on every single bid, but it should also include that membership, right? Because eventually, if your end game is to sell your business, and this is where I'm sure with Patrick Lang, your previous guest that you had on for your podcast, when you're looking at the valuation for your business, if you self-insure or you don't add warranties, that's a liability to your business. If you use a third-party administrator for memberships or either memberships or for warranties, that's accretive to your valuation. So you're actually going to get paid more because it's all about reoccurring revenue and it's all about how many homes you have under contract. So that's another benefit. On top of that, there's a cross-sell component. So a lot of our contractors, we know if they handle HVAC, they also handle plumbing, or maybe they have electrical. So the good thing is you go in, I'm taking care of this system. I also see they've got a couple of water heaters. If those systems are less than 2 years old and they don't have a warranty on it, I can put a warranty on that even if I wasn't the one that installed it. So again, you're just creating that stickiness between the contractor and the homeowner. Same thing if they have a secondary HVAC system or even a generator that's less than 2 years old and doesn't have a warranty, I can put a warranty on that as well. So there's the upsell, the cross-sell, there's the maintenance or membership clubs. So those are all the kind of value-added reasons why contractors need to sell warranties, then they need to use a third party administrator for those, because those are all the added benefits to them as a business owner.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the reasons why I am happy we partner with you guys on a company level
Mhm.
is I think we both kind of talk about the importance of capturing the home,
Yes.
right, for the contractor. And one of the things I want to discuss with you today is like really why warranties are like a sales tool too for the contractor. And like we look at this too. So like you're in a home, you put the warranty on anything under 2 years, right? Like I think that one of the reasons why I like this partnership is because when people are looking at memberships and looking at maintenance plans and warranties, et cetera, it is like one thing doesn't always tell the whole story or like capture everything. And so partnering together on the warranties plus the memberships, like we can help the homeowner and the contractor get that home for older systems, right? So
Yes.
that they are ready for the replacement. But what you guys are doing is making sure they have that home for the long term, which I really like.
Oh
And
yeah, and
I think it's really important.
yeah, and that's why bundling it, and again, it comes down to positioning, right? And so it starts with the owners of the companies, and they're working with their sales leadership and their technicians and their comfort advisors, and based on the compensation plan and based on the latitude that they provide their technicians and their comfort advisors, in many cases they may say, yeah, we want you to add a warranty and a membership on every single sale. But if they've got that latitude and they want to get that sale at that kitchen table, and they just start crossing out some of those added services, because if it's not important to the comfort advisor, but it's important to the company overall, right? And so there's got to be a connection there. And so they have to say, look, we need to educate our comfort advisors and our selling techs so they understand the long-term value of selling memberships, of selling warranties, and trying to get a higher average ticket and selling those bundles, as
Yeah.
opposed to just selling components or just selling a bare bones system and not worrying about it. But it is, it's a real concern, because when they're in there, and we often know that, if they're getting a quote from my company, they're getting a quote from two other companies, and they're trying to do a side by side. And companies don't know the difference between a 15 SEER and a 17 SEER, and the different manufacturers and what's included and what isn't, and what's one speed, two speed, right? All they're looking for is the price. And so it's so important for whoever's selling the system to be able to sit down and articulate what is included in this bid and why each of those different pieces are important. Again, so the homeowners can make informed decisions. So it's very, very important from an education perspective that the salespeople for the companies get behind it. However, they're out there and they're competing, and they want to make sure it's competitive. And so if they don't have warranties and it reduces the cost $1,000, and they've got a better chance of winning the bid. And so when we heard that from our contractors, we kind of looked internally and said, okay, how can we help them overcome that pain and solve that sales issue, right, when they're at the table? What
Yeah.
we did, Wes, is we love the fact we can sell 10-year warranties, because that marries the 10-year parts warranty from the OEM. So it just makes sense with the whole peace of mind. However, what we've done is we've introduced 2-year, 3-year, and 5-year warranties that are renewable. So if I'm a contractor and I go out and, let's say, I pick up a new customer through Google or through word of mouth or whatever it is, and I sit down there and my bid has a 10-year warranty, and there's sticker shock from the customer, and say, I just can't really afford that. So you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a 2-year warranty on it. So instead of spending, say, $1,500 for a 10-year warranty, let's spend a few $100s and add it in. And you know what? With that, we're going to throw in the first maintenance, tune up for free. And we're going to be able to let's get this installed, right? So win the business to start. And then after that, you're starting to kind of build the rapport with the homeowner. Once you build that rapport, hey, you're going to show up when you say you are. You're going to do great work. Your technician's going to be tidy. They're going to put their booties on. They're going to clean up after themselves. Do what you say you're going to do, right? Provide that warranty. And then if you do what you say you're going to do, the homeowner is more inclined to then sign up for a longer term membership. Well, once you have that, you start adding some additional value and maybe there's a repair on a toilet or a set of taps, whatever, right? Based on the services. I think from a consumer perspective, I think of a lot of times the people making decisions in households is the woman of the house, because right. And so they love they love one throat to choke. They would love one contractor that can do all of these different things, right? And so if you go in there and you provide a great service, and the woman of the house who's there and is interfacing with all these technicians, they feel safe. They feel like they're not being taken advantage of. um, they're more inclined to then say, yeah, I'm willing to sign up for a longer term membership. Once you have that 2-year labor warranty, after 2 years, it's like, yeah, I would like to renew that out to 10 years, because now I have a relationship and I've got a rapport with the contractor. I know that they're a trusted, provider for us. And I'm now committed to, investing more to get those added services. And so that's really important. And again, ways that our sales team can interact with contractors and help them overcome some of those sales objectives when those selling techs are sitting at the kitchen table with those homeowners.
One of the questions I have is, as we're talking more about how these are like sales tools, do you have data, or like do you know um, the conversion rate on, let's say we have an Angie lead that three different companies end up providing an estimate
Yeah.
for. Let's say two of them don't have it's a replacement. Like two of them don't have a warranty attached to it outside of just like what comes basic. And then one of them has an extended warranty that they're offering. Like, do you know like how much? I'm sure there's some homeowner psychology involved, but like, what does that do for like the conversion rate?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that we find is speed to lead is the most important, right? So if you do get that lead in, being able to respond within 5 to 30 minutes is kind of what's really important, because there's some sort of trigger event, right? There's a reason why someone went online, they did a search, ChatGPT search, a Google search, whatever it may be, and they're now requesting an appointment, they're requesting pricing, whatever that is. If you can't get back in touch with them until the next day or 2 days later, they've moved on, right? They've gone down the list and they're now talking to the second one on the list, the third one on the list, fourth one on the list. And so speed to lead is the most important. Being accessible and being reliable, right? Because saying, hey, yes, we want to be able to provide you a quote. In order for us to do that, we're going to have to do a site visit. And saying, well, I'll be there in 3 weeks. Again, not going to cut
Not
it,
going to work.
right? What works for you? Well, the best thing is to be available based on what their availability is. Hey, I really want to have someone out this afternoon or first thing in the morning, or can you guys come after hours when my husband and I will both be here? So being flexible and being available is the next thing. Doing a thorough evaluation is the next thing, right? So you just want to come in, eyeball, and say, here's your quote. Sitting down, being able to generate a quote very, very quickly, like not saying, hey, I just spent the last 2.5 hours here doing a site visit. I'm going to go back to the office and I'll have you a quote tomorrow morning. You're out of the game at that point.
Yeah.
Having the ability to actually go in your truck and quickly within 10, 15 minutes, put the quote together, then come back in at the kitchen table and explain your quote, right? Is where things work out. Adding in the membership, letting them know that, let's say you offer financing, letting them know that you offer potentially leasing, right? Or if they've got bumps and bruises on their credit, that you offer, something like Breeze Lease, where you can offer a lease to own type of program, right? And so it's very important so warranties is just one piece of the kind of, or one of the arrows that they have in their quiver. Yes, it makes sense. If you can go in and say, hey, Wes, here's our bid. And the nice thing is our company's established. We've been, servicing this area for 15 years. Here's, we're an elite dealer with Train or American Standard. We're going to be able to come in here. We're going to install this. We're going to stand behind product. Anything the first, 90 days, we're going to come back and we're going to fix it free of charge. We've added in this membership. We're going to throw in the first membership tune up at no charge. So again, you're creating that goodwill with the customer. We do have the financing if that's important to you. If you want to lease it, we've got that available to you. And we also have this warranty, and the warranty is important because of this, and this. And so educating that homeowner and let them feel comfortable that they're not being taken advantage of. And the good news is that don't worry, if you sell your home, we're going to be able to transfer that over. We're going to take really good care of you. That's providing the homeowner the information they need, and the kind of the reassurance that they're dealing with a high quality contractor that cares about their business and the relationship. That's where you're going to see a higher close rate. Warranties is just one piece of it. I wouldn't say it's the
Yeah.
overriding reason why, but it's all about speed to lead. It's interacting in a professional manner, doing what you say you're going to do, and having taken the time to explain the differences between the options. That's where you're going to really help these customers, because let's be honest, Wes, the $12,000-$15,000 system, besides their house, maybe a roof, and a car, this is the next biggest purchase they're going to make, right? And oftentimes it's during a time that they weren't expecting it. And oh, what do you know? It's it's in Texas where it's June and it's 110 degrees, right? Where there's no option. I don't have the money in my bank account, but I've got my kids and I need to get this fixed. And so it's a very worrisome time often when you're getting three contractors come in to give you bids, and you're there, and it's just, again, you don't know enough about the AC system, and you don't know if you're being taken advantage of. And so it's a very stressful time. And so it's really important for contractors to be able to kind of have those real human interactions with these homeowners, and take the time to educate them and help them understand every component of their bid, and why it's important, and why it makes sense for them.
No, that's great. And I think that the way that you guys approach education is is really important,
Hmm.
is all I'll say. Okay, so the next thing I want to really kind of talk about is I want to clear up some confusion between difference between like manufacturer versus labor warranties, if we can get into
Hmm.
this a little bit. So can you talk a little bit about what's actually covered under a manufacturer warranty, and then talk a little bit about the extended warranties piece?
Sure, sure. So what's covered basically, it's parts, right? So if there's a mechanical failure or there's a defective part and there's a recall, that part is covered by the manufacturer. So again, contractor would diagnose it. They would see that, hey, this is a faulty TXV valve, whatever. They would then take that into the supply house. They would get a replacement, and that is included. The warranty, again, to rip out that old part, install the new part, that's not covered. In many cases, things like refrigerant is not covered. And so with the labor warranty, we've got some different variants. At its core, it's the labor piece. And so when we work with a contractor, the first thing when we sit down, we onboard a new contractor, it's like, okay, what's it cost to roll a truck, right? Because as I like to say, if you're in Manhattan, Kansas versus Manhattan, New York, your old home, your old stomping grounds, the cost of managing a service call is different. And so you may roll a truck for $100 here, but you need $300 an hour here. And so we've got a range of labor rates that contractors can choose to be compensated for any of the claims that they submit to us. Next thing is the term. So as I mentioned, we have 10-year terms which marry up against the parts warranty for the manufacturers. But we do have 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year warranties as well, with the 2 year, 3 year, and 5 year being renewable out to 10 years. So that's a good strategy. If you've got a good, better, best strategy on equipment, have a good, better, best strategy on warranties. Offer a 3 year, a 5 year, a 10 year. If the customer balks at it, you can always downgrade them from the 10 to the 5. Or if they say, hey, I want this middle one, but instead of a 5 year warranty, I'd like to upgrade it to a 10. Have those options available to the consumer. As I mentioned, we have labor only plans. We have labor plus that can include refrigerant coverage, can include parts allowances as well. So again, when we sit down and we onboard a new contractor, we have a price book that includes the repair schedule. It includes a grid with all of our various products, labor rates, terms, and our sales team as a consultant sits with the contractor, understands their business, and helps them choose the appropriate warranties for their business.
The last the last segment I want to get into before we get into closing is I want to hear some best practices from some of the top shops and how they handle and manage warranties. So one of my first questions would be, what are best in class companies doing differently with warranties that ones that maybe have warranties aren't doing super well, or even ones that don't have warranties?
Yeah. Well, first you want to use a third party administrator, right? A lot of times, either first you don't, yeah, you want to offer warranties. So that's the first thing. If you're going to offer warranties, then you want to be able to use a third party administrator. That allows the contractors to really focus on what they're good at, which is installing new equipment and fixing broken equipment, right? And so use a third party administrator. The best practices, first off, it's education. It's educate your team, help them understand why warranties make sense for the homeowners, but also for your business. Make sure you have a commission structure and a sales plan that supports warranties, right? That is not a necessary evil that they can easily just remove. Hey, maybe there's added bonuses if you add a new system with a warranty. I like the idea of putting warranties on every single quote, good, better, best. Don't line item, have bundled pricing, right? It's a happy meal. Hey, I don't want to add the fries. Well, great. You don't have to eat the fries, but the happy meal is still $7.99, right? And so don't allow discounting as they start adding or removing any of these items. We also have some great plans with those renewables. So the 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plans. If again customers balk and you can't sell a 10-year warranty, add a 2-year, add a 3-year, add a 5-year. It gives you the opportunity to build the rapport with the customer and then get that renewal down the road. The other thing is we have a program with a partner of ours where, and there's other great technologies that do this as well, but the ability to go back, we allow contractors to put a warranty on a system that's up to 2 years old if they installed it or if someone else installed it. So leveraging data within their field service management platform, having a marketing plan where you can actually go in and market through email and SMS texting, selling those warranties post install, and doing a 2-year look back. So any of those installs that didn't have a warranty, going back after the fact and selling those warranties, we've seen partners that have seen success selling warranties to installs that were a year ago. By just sending emails or text saying, "Hey, Wes, I want to let you know that system you installed last year, it's in great shape. We've kept it humming along with 2 annual maintenances or tune-ups. Want to let you know that you're still eligible to put a JV warranty on it. Reply yes, and we'll reach out to you to get that done." We've seen great success there, right? And so don't just kind of walk away from the warranty if you don't sell it at point of sale. Contractors that are really successful, we're seeing that they're seeing a really nice, ideally 80 to 100% attach rate at new installs, but also going back after the fact, trying to sell those warranties. That's what a lot of the best contractors, the ones that are most successful with their program, those are the things that they're doing.
My next question would be, what is a small change that a contractor can make immediately to their warranty program to improve it?
Yeah. So looking at the labor rate is one of the biggest things, because if I'm selling warranties and let's say they're 5-year warranties or they're selling 10-year warranties, and I just want to have the lowest possible price, so I'm going to choose $100 labor rate. But what they're thinking is $100 labor rate or $100 per hour reimbursement rate works for me now, but they're not thinking about 10 years from now. And so what they really should do is kind of look at and say, well, maybe instead of $100 per hour, bump that up to 150, bump it up to 175 or 200, and kind of plan for inflation and what's going to happen over the next decade so that they're covered. Because the last thing you want to do is be beholden to a warranty where I sold it 10 years ago. I'm going out to do a warranty call and I'm upside down because I'm only going to be reimbursed $100 an hour where my actual costs are $200 an hour. So that's what I would recommend. One of the nice benefits was of the 2-year, 3-year, and 5-year renewable warranties is that I can have $100 labor rate now, but when I renew that in 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, I can actually bump up the labor rate out to 10 years. So it gives me an opportunity to kind of reset. So that would be a great benefit for any of the contractors if they're looking to make a single change, is really look at the labor rate and make sure you're building in your cost, but also profitability built into it as well.
Next question, just rapid firing at you
Sure.
right now. Next question is we talked a little bit earlier about like third party administrators, and I assume through our conversation that is what best practices
Yes.
top shops are doing. Ones that are doing it incorrectly, are they like self insuring it or like what are they doing wrong?
Yeah, and again, a lot of times it's illegal, based on state regulations. A lot of states, don't allow you to self-insure. So if you are self-insuring, my recommendation is get to know your state regulations and make sure it's legal, and then make sure that you're following, generally acceptable accounting practices or GAAP practices. Typically, you need to have deferred revenue accounts set up. So oftentimes you need to work with your CPA to make sure because a lot of times what happens, Wes, is they say, yeah, we offer warranties. We just charge a few $100. We take that in, we kind of put it in QuickBooks, we put it over here. Whenever we do a warranty call, we pull some of it out. At the end of the year, whatever's left over, it funds our holiday party. It's like, yeah, that's
No.
not good. Right? There's ways that you have to treat that revenue, and when how you recognize it sits in a deferred account, and then you actually recognize it when you provide those services. But if you've got future, commitments of you have to have those warranty dollars, parked there. And so it's really, really important. Again, if you're self-insuring and you go out of business, the homeowner's SOL, right?
Yeah.
Or close down my business or whatever, right? And so that's why by using a third party administrator, you're providing that peace of mind and the comfort that if that contractor goes out of business, no problem. That warranty is still covered. We're going to transfer that to another contractor in your area. We're going to do that at no charge. Same thing, not only if they go out of business, but let's say I sell you a warranty and the homeowner is at odds with the contractor and say, I just don't feel safe. I don't want that contractor coming into my house. I'd prefer to use someone else. No problem. Homeowner can work with us. If they've got a replacement that they want, we'll just transfer that over. Or if they don't know of any others, we'll give them a list of available contractors in their area. They can choose one, and we will transfer the dealer of record tied to that warranty to that new contractor. So those are some of the benefits that they get by using a third party administrator for warranties, as opposed to if a contractor is just doing their warranties in house.
Yeah. I mean, I think ultimately it just comes down to way less risk for the.
Correct.
So, a few more questions.
Sure.
When you're looking at like KPIs that owners or contractors should be tracking related to warranties, like what are some of the key ones that they should be looking
Yeah, attach rates, right? How many bids am I putting out that have a warranty attached to it, right? And so you want that as close to 100% as possible. You want to have that mechanism where it's either your CSRs, and maybe you wait until it's shoulder season and your selling techs or your comfort advisors have less appointments, but give them a list and say, hey, here's a list of deals that we sold last year. Reach out to them and see if you can sell that warranty, right? So you can keep your staff busy during those kind of non-peak times. That would be very, very important. Again, the attach rates, it's the number of warranty calls that you're making, right? So
at?
it's tied back to. So here's the one thing we didn't talk about, Wes. So we typically have a 90-day waiting period from the time that you purchase a warranty to the time that you can submit your first claim. And the reason for that is we don't want contractors buying a warranty because they know they already have something broken, right? So usually
Yeah.
that first 90 days is kind of like the red tag period where the contractor stands behind it. But the number of warranties or number of quotes sold or installed with a warranty is the first thing. How many warranty calls we're doing, and those are kind of the main KPIs that I would focus on. One of the things that we're doing, Wes, is to really help contractors stay on top of their claims because as an insurance company, we're selling these warranties right to homeowners on behalf of through the contractors, but we want the contractors to get paid. But we also know that during busy season, right, you got this big stack of paper sitting on your office manager's desk, and let's say they're out of the office, they're sick, there's turnover, whatever it may be. Next thing you know, you go back to it 3 months, 4 months later, and you've got all these potential claims. Well, you're outside the claims window. That could be thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in warranty work that you did that you can't, get claimed on. That doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
We want our contractors to get every single claimable dollar, and that's through our integration, our JB360 integration that we have with Service Titan and Workies. That's what we've done, and we're accomplishing it. So um, basically, with that integration is we pull in using the API, we pull in every single job that a contractor does at a location that has an active warranty, and we kind of pull that into the portal and say, please look at this and let us know if you want to submit a claim to us. That's driving up our claims, but that's by design because we know that contractors need to see value in the warranty program, and in order for them to see value, they need to see claims checks coming back to them, so they're getting paid for any of that warranty work that they're doing. And so that has been a strategy that JB Warranties has taken on that's been very successful, and we're the only one that has that integration. So that's really it's a differentiator for us in the marketplace.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I've been background in those discussions previously, so I definitely appreciate you bringing that up. All right, I've another question here. What so just because like Smart AC does smart monitoring of systems, like OEMs do that with their newer systems. So oftentimes, like their high end systems do some sort of
Mhm.
monitoring. How does that technology play in with a warranty?
Yeah, so I think it's fantastic. I think it's, definitely having the monitoring system along with the warranty is the protection that, homeowners are looking for, especially as systems are becoming so much more expensive, right? Having a contractor they trust, having the insurance and having the monitoring systems, the warranty plan in place, having all of those different components is kind of what's driving the industry and what homeowners are requiring these days. And so it really, I see the Smart AC monitoring system and the JB warranties programs definitely married up and going hand in hand. And a lot of the biggest and best contractors in the country are leveraging both programs
Mm-hmm.
to provide that added value and added protection to their homeowners.
One of the things we see a lot right now is I think early on you talked about how much does it cost to roll a truck. That's something we look at too when we work with contractors. And I think there's like a growing effort to reduce the amount of truck rolls that people do, whether it's like tune ups, whatever. Some of these contractors have gone towards a more one of their tiers of a membership could potentially be like a virtual only
Mhm.
uh, tune up. Like, how does that impact a warranty?
Yeah. So again, we love the idea of smart AC where it's predictive, right? And it's getting in front of and it's making sure that you're monitoring the systems and taking care of it before something catastrophic goes wrong. And so we think smart AC is a great platform for that. So it should reduce the number of warranty claims, but just as far as, providing notification to the contractor, notification to the homeowner that something doesn't look right. So you can kind of proactively kind of adjust those settings to get it back online. But again, things still go wrong, right? And there's
Yeah.
still, again, catastrophic or mechanical failures. And that's where we come in. So kind of smart AC is the first line of defense. And then JB warranty is kind of the second line of defense that, yeah, hopefully you're able to get in front of any of those issues that go wrong. But when they do go wrong, nice thing is you've got the warranty from the manufacturer. You got the warranty from JB warranties, backing you up.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And so I think I want to move more towards kind of like a closing conversation now. If we have an HVAC owner listening to this episode, what's one thing that they should take from this episode, like, and remember? And then maybe there's something that we didn't talk about that you want to mention here, but that's my main question.
Yeah, again, we spend a lot of time with our field sales team that's out there talking to contractors at their shops, at point of distribution and working. They really need to think about extended warranties as a profit center as opposed to an expense. We see when contractors are buying warranties from us, Wes, we've you know we have a wholesale cost. We don't have an MSRP. So we don't dictate or have a recommended price that contractors sell our warranties for. Um, some of our contractors will give it away for free in order to get the install. Some of them will sell it at cost. Some of them will kind of mark it up as a service. Some of them will sell it 200 to 300%, whatever the market will bear. And that's completely up to the contractor, whatever they want to do. So it's not an expense because they're actually at point of sale. They should be making a margin on it, but it's all of those ancillary benefits post sale that really helps their business, and not only grow and be more attractive if they look to sell their business, but it also fortifies and builds a moat around that customer, that from the competition, and it gives them all those cross sell upsell opportunities as well. If you do a really great job with that customer and you're providing phenomenal service, next thing you should do is go back to that customer and request, referrals and reviews, right? We know that word of mouth advertising, and those types of leads, tend to close at a higher rate because those leads and referrals are coming from a trusted friend or family member. And so you need to really look at warranties as, again, not an expense, but really a vital piece of your sales and marketing strategy to help you not only win more bids now, but create that lifetime value with those customers that are going to then create additional sales opportunities through that word of mouth marketing for reviews and referrals. So that's the biggest takeaway for any HVAC contractor that's with us, or plumbing contractor. If you're not offering extended warranties, we would love for you to kind of give us a shot. Registering with us takes a couple of minutes. They can do it at jbwarranties.com. Once they register and fill out that information, and once they get approved, they will be assigned a territory manager. Territory manager will reach out to them. If we can do it, face to face, great. If not, over a Zoom call, and we'll go through the full price book, kind of talk about the different products and options that we have available, talk about our repair schedule, walk them through the portal, how they can place orders. If they're using ServiceTitan or Workies, we can talk about the JB360 integration, show them how to process claims, and again, be available to them longer term. If there's an opportunity to educate and train their sales team as well as their office staff, those are the services that we provide as part of that onboarding process as well. And so, we would love to work. We work with thousands of contractors, but if there's any other contractors that are considering it, we cover all brands. We cover unitary, we cover mini splits, generators, plumbing as well. And so we would love the opportunity to earn their business and work with them longer term.
Awesome. So I think everyone listening should go check out jbwarranties.com, and I'm assuming that's the best way to get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go check out jbwarranties.com. Kevin, thank you so much for joining today. This has been a great discussion. I can't wait to hear what people say about this episode and get it out to the public. But thanks for joining today.
Thanks, Wes. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Until next time, everyone.